Today on Up at Noon, it's a Star Wars special spectacular. We went to the Rogue One premiere. Then, we talk about our favorite Star Wars toys. After that, we're playing classic Star Wars games. All Star Wars, all day. This is Up at Noon.
Welcome to Up at Noon.
Here we are.
Oh my God, this is it. Hi, I'm Brian Altano. That's Max Scoville. Very special guest, Terry Schwartz, here today.
Hello.
Wow, this is going to be awesome. I'm super excited for this. Up at Noon is our weekly comedy variety show right here on IGN. This week, because we've just really been beating on that drum for so long.
We don't talk about Star Wars a whole lot.
That's true. They actually gave us the rights. They allowed us to do a full hour of Star Wars. So this is our Star Wars holiday special, as they say, which means it might be great, it might be a disaster, but it's gonna be a good time.
Yeah, this is a nice trash fire we've made for ourselves.
Yep.
First of all, I want to thank our sponsor, Gillette. They have Star Wars razors because apparently, even when you grow up, you still don't have to grow up. These are in stores now to tie in with Rogue One. You can use them to remove hair from your face. That's what a razor does. But yeah.
Or shave a Wookiee.
Yeah, that too. I love that we're at that point where it's like, it used to be like, oh, like maybe there's like Star Wars kids' toothbrushes, and now it's like, no.
Well, Diego Luna's chiseled jaw is really what's selling those Gillette razors.
Absolutely.
Anyway, Up at Noon, obviously we do this live. If you're watching this live on some platform, there are many others you should be aware of. There is the IGN PS4 app, the Roku app, the Apple TV app, the Xbox One app. We are on twitch.tv/IGN, IGN's Facebook page, and of course youtube.com/IGN, and IGN.com. And you can use Twitter, use the hashtag Up at Noon to send us some comments and say what's up and tell us how cool our new set is. Isn't this awesome?
Right? Look at this. I want to give a very special shout out to our design and creative team here at IGN who created this wonderful digital set. It kind of hurts because that's fake booze back there. Like we can't actually grab those bottles off the shelves, but it's so cool to look at. I love it so much.
But you can grab Captain America's shield.
Try it.
We'll find out.
That's the end of the show.
Might damage the wall.
Make sure you stick around.
So Terry, you actually went and saw Rogue One already. You went to the premiere.
I did go to the premiere. I feel so spoiled. Everyone watching is going to be. You guys are angry with me because this is.
If you say one more word that alludes to anything that happens in the movie, we will be furious.
Yeah, I want to say real quick housekeeping. This is an entirely Rogue One spoiler-free episode. I haven't seen the movie yet. Max hasn't either. I haven't even read our review.
No.
Yeah, well,
we're not going near it.
Yeah, why would I do that?
We wanted to talk to you about what's a movie premiere like, especially what's a Star Wars movie premiere like. We've got photographic proof that you were there.
Yes.
There was an X-wing there.
There was,
there you are.
And there was a TIE fighter over a bar, which was amazing.
What? I love that series of words.
So this is why I said that I'm spoiled. I went to the Force Awakens premiere last year too. I know, living that good life down in LA. Surprisingly chilly, but the thing about a movie of this size is, first of all, there's crazy security, but also these are huge. Like this one, they took over the Pantages Theater, which is basically where all the musical theater performances. The acoustics were amazing. Like it was almost too loud in there, which was great because there's a lot of great action in these movies. But they basically shut down Hollywood Boulevard, a big chunk of it, and you walk down and they have these big
friggin' X-wing.
An X-wing, yes.
Like walk us through what's the kind of the setup here? Because I see a lot of these photos. It kind of looks like just like a fun event. There you are with Joshua Yale.
It is.
You show up. What, you got like a call time? There's like,
so you
is
show
there like
up
a wedding?
It is. So usually what I do at premieres is I'm on the red carpet and I'm doing interviews. This time around we had Naomi Kyle and Kyle O'Connor doing that, so I just got to go for fun and not really work. So yeah, you show up, you check in, lots of security, like I said. You walk down the carpet. If you're talent, so if you're a famous celebrity, if you're a star of this movie, you're gonna walk down the red carpet and do interviews. They basically hid us in every back corner, like we were zipping around so we weren't in any camera's way, because there also was the StarWars.com live stream sort of showing what was happening. But the photo that you just put up of us at the end, sort of that gin or so photo op, that's at the very end of the carpet. And God, it was so crowded down there. The people trying to manage this premiere were like, go inside, but you had to give up your phone, because obviously they don't want spoilers getting out.
So where do they put the phones? Like, do they?
They actually, this is like getting very technical, but they have them.
No, this is what I want to know about. Like, I've never been to one of these things, so it's like fascinating to be like, what's the?
They have a new system. Last year, they just had you like check in and you had to get a number. This time, they put them in these little timed pouches that unlock when you walk out after the film is over.
Oh, weird. Dave Chappelle was like trying to get those things off the ground for comedy shows. So does it have like a little lock on it?
Yeah, so it locks and then you go in, and so you can keep it on you. You don't have to pick it up later, because that caused a lot of crazy lines at Force Awakens last year. What was funny, I've seen it twice already.
Oh,
I also also went to a screening on the Disney lot, and that had another really funny, surreal circumstance where usually people go to these screenings, they walk out, you talk about it, right? You want to talk about it with people, but because they had 4 screenings over the course of the day, they had to start the screening by saying, please wait until your cars, until you talk about it. There's going to be a line of people waiting to get in.
Yeah.
Please don't spoil the film, which is a nice warning for if you guys are seeing it at movie theaters.
Oh, totally.
Right?
I
don't
think
walk
Max
out
and
and spoil it.
Max and I did that last year at The Force Awakens. We went to like the 7 p.m. showing and ran outside, and the 10 p.m. showing was just coming in. We were just yelling all these different spoilers and things about Han Solo and his son.
Oops.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So they had cupcakes?
They did have cupcakes. These were supposed to be Death Star cupcakes. They sort of almost were, but I really liked that photo.
Like a cupcake.
And there were like crazy photos. The after party is where things get really surreal.
Was that where the TIE Fighter bar was?
That's where the TIE Fighter bar was. And everyone was so excited after this. I mean, I think if you've seen anything about Rogue One, you've seen a lot of really excited feedback. And so everyone involved with the movie was so excited. Everyone who saw the movie was so excited that they enjoyed it. I remember after The Force Awakens, everyone came out and we were like, we don't know how to feel. Like, we just saw this after all this build-up, but there was just a really cool vibe. And they had really fun photo ops. They had one that myself, Eric Goldman, our TV editor, and Joshua Yale, our comics editor, did, where we were like, we saved the day, like with the Death Star behind us.
Yeah,
and it was just
like the Scarif background.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man.
So
I
that's
wanna live
awesome.
in Scarif.
So it feels like a big party, sort of, right?
It is.
Like
It absolutely
folded around
is.
a movie premiere. I know a lot of people get to go and they get to do the stuff before and after, but not a lot of them get to see the movie. So I think it's really interesting about them taking away sort of your security rights to sort of start filming it and stuff like that.
And what's interesting is, you're seeing it with the people who made this movie, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I've gone to a lot of TV premieres and it's sort of the same thing. A lot of the people who make this movie, not only the cast, but the writers, the sound crew, everyone else who's there and being celebrated, never gets to see it with a big audience. And this is probably the biggest audience that will see it.
Right.
I just wanted to be Alan Tudyk, that movie, because every line his droid said, K2SO, like, earned like massive laughter.
Okay.
I was like, he must be living his best life.
You
like,
pipe
I
down
did
there.
it.
You're
I
getting
did
close
it.
to spoiler
No,
territory. I
no,
don't know
he
a damn
plays.
thing.
Alan Tudyk is in this movie.
Okay.
Spoilers.
All right.
What?
We
Be
know about
excited.
that.
So I've been to a screening at ILM before.
Yes.
And it's really funny there because like you'll be
They have a
you'll
great
be there.
theater.
Yeah, it's awesome. I mean they made it. They
must,
made,
yeah.
they made surround sound there. So like it's really funny because it's like you always wait through all the credits, not just because Nick Fury shows up or whatever,
Right.
but because it goes through all of the main cast and the principal people, and then it gets to like the guy who made the CG for
And you hear that
Bebop
cheer,
and Rocksteady
right?
or whatever, and and it's like that's like the guy's there with his kids, and it's really adorable. So it's cool you got to do that. I think that the energy surrounding this Star Wars movie is exciting because we know that it's in good hands. The Force Awakens began to make things right. This is the first time we're getting a Star Wars spin-off. It's a Star Wars story. It's not a standalone thing.
And I'll say it feels different. That's that's what it needed to be. It needed to feel different. Force Awakens very much felt like A New Hope. I think for the right reasons. You're doing a reset. You're moving things into a new direction, but also honoring the old. But this feels like a different sort of movie, which is exciting.
Well, that's good. I'm excited to see Star Wars go off in different directions. Obviously, we're getting the Han Solo standalone movie soon enough. We don't even know what's down the pipeline. Maybe Obi-Wan, maybe Boba Fett, stuff like that. Maybe stuff we've never even heard of.
Episode 8, Episode 9.
Exactly.
Yep.
I mean, that's all like kind of, we know that's going to be a known quantity, but I like the idea of these smaller, kind of weirder, spin-offs, but it's going to reach a point where there's going to be stuff that I don't want. So I figure we should talk a little bit about things that we do not want to see Star Wars movies of.
Don't waste your time and money, Disney.
Yeah, obviously, a lot of people would love to see a Darth Maul movie.
Yes.
But I don't think this is the right approach here. I think that You've Got Maul is a terrible idea for a film. I don't think that Meg Ryan would want anything to do with the Sith Lord.
But I bet she'd have great chemistry with him.
Yeah, but he would still only have like 5 lines, and they'd all be angry.
I'll be honest with you.
He'd really cut her down.
This is one of my wife's favorite movies. She puts this on probably.
You've Got Maul.
Yeah, no, You've Got Mail once every few weeks, and I would watch the hell out of this.
Yeah.
This looks great, especially if
That'd be
he shows up with his robot legs.
Yeah, real weird. And then of course, fun for the whole family. Look Who's Tarkin. Yeah. Imagine that.
Is that about him? Is that his lip on the W?
I know it's kind of sloppy with this one. I don't
What's
know.
the plot of this movie?
So,
Sorry, I missed the trailer.
We know he can talk like
Bruce
he's
Willis
a baby.
narrates the entirety of Grand Moff Tarkin's thought process.
Okay.
Maybe not a great idea.
It's just like all of his scenes, but from the other films, but just with sort of a VO.
Yeah, I think that'd be good. Just have Bruce Willis dub over all of Peter Cushing's scenes.
Yeah.
Again, I would watch that film.
Now, I'm a big Dengar apologist. He, of course, is the toilet mummy who is in the Bounty Hunter scene and does literally nothing. People are like, Boba Fett fell in a hole, and everyone loves him. Well, Dengar doesn't even fall in a hole. He just stands there with toilet paper on his head. But I think that he's got the ability to reach some kids. I think that he could take a bunch of inner city youths of varying Star Wars races and help whip them into shape for bounty hunting school.
Sort of like a 21 Jump Street remake.
Yeah.
So Dangerous Minds.
Dangerous Minds.
Great. And that's his students? Like, is Jabba the Hutt going back to school?
That's not Jabba. That's the Randall the Hutt.
No,
probably. I don't know. Yeah.
All his students are very old, I'm going to be honest with you.
All right, so, maybe these are a little bit too
Might
weird.
be too late for them.
Schooling's different in a galaxy far, far away.
Owen Lars, Luke's uncle, he doesn't really get enough screen time. There's a lot that happens. We see him kind of as a young man in episode 2, and then we see him, get set on fire, sort of, in A New Hope. But there's a lot of stuff that could have happened in the meantime there. Maybe there was a minute where he didn't have Beru in his life, so maybe we should do Owen Lars and the Real Girl, where he,
This is so unsettling.
he's like,
This is disgusting on like 50 levels.
Like, this must take place between Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones.
You know what's
Roger.
This image specifically, I don't really like looking at these people's hands. This is just a disgusting looking.
Ryan Gosling
Roger.
is so disappointed in you right now.
This is just a dumb. This should set the tone for the rest of this show. So if you're not enjoying this, apologies in advance.
Putting women's hair on like random Star Wars characters.
We do that a lot here.
Very unsettling.
Cover his eyes.
Yeah.
He doesn't need to
I'm gonna
see
be honest. That
more
was the
of
one movie I would not watch of this
No,
bunch.
okay, good.
There's
I don't
one
wanna see that
character in the Star Wars saga who I think we can agree everyone loves without any
Universal
hesitation.
acclaim.
Oh, what are you talking about, Max?
Well, I would Watto. Watto is that character. Everyone loves Watto, the stingy junk dealer with the gambler.
I have spare car parts. I'll tell you, do anything you need to help your my bike go fast.
Yeah, known slave owner. Like, that's it. He has a slave that builds droids. That doesn't even make any sense. Anyway, I'd like to see the softer side of Watto, so I want to see Toydarian's story. I think that'd be a good one.
That's a great idea, Max.
Yeah, Commander
really
Cody
like
shows
this.
up on Tatooine with some amnesia, and he's like, yeah, and then that's the joke. That's all.
How dumb are the other toys in Toy Story where if you just wear a cowboy hat, they're like, oh, it's totally Woody. he's got a completely different voice now, and he flies with wings. But yeah, I think that's Woody.
Well, there's a
Buzz
snake in my
Stormier,
boot.
too, over there.
Somebody
Sneaking
poisoned
right
the
in.
moisture farm. So, it wouldn't be a Star Wars holiday special with just one Watto joke, so I think we really need to keep going. Let's keep this Watto train a-rolling.
Yeah, here's another one.
What?
This is getting dumber, everyone. What do we do in the shadows? Great.
Yeah, it's just Watto lives with a bunch of vampires.
I wish we'd done this beforehand because Taika Waititi, the director of this film and star right there, was at the premiere, and I wish that I could have pitched
We could have
this.
pitched them.
I bet
Had
he's-
I known, I bet he's watching right now.
I bet you he's going to do a Star Wars movie at some point. After Thor Ragnarok, I bet you.
And it will be What Do We Do in the
Yeah,
Shadows.
I hope it's What Do We Do in the Shadows. But it could also be what about Bob? The other Watto joke we have for you.
Yeah, this
You
was
see
an
the
easy
direction this is
Photoshop
going?
because
I
he's
know.
already got his hand out to do handshakes.
I'm so impressed with this Photoshop job.
Thank you.
actually.
The silhouette back there is
Thank
very
you.
subtle.
Yeah.
Also, that movie was directed by Frank Oz, who did Yoda. So
Yeah,
there's a
so
little bit
there's
of
a connection
It all
there.
ties
That's a
together.
real good connection. And then of course Watto's super great.
This was.
Great job there.
It doesn't even make sense.
Doesn't make any sense.
It doesn't. What does that mean? What does that mean?
All right.
I want to know the plot of this movie as well.
He has to saw a hole in the wall of the farmfarmhouse to move his Huddy's mother out the side. I don't know.
Max, that has to be all of our Watto jokes, right? There couldn't
what are you
possibly
talking
be
about?
one more.
What a Watto girl wants. What about that
Oh
one?
God!
Yeah, I'm gonna end it there.
Never
this is
looked
awful.
prettier.
Yeah,
That
Amanda Bynes,
hair.
I'm sorry.
That's actually a recent photo of her.
Aww.
Yeah. Anyway, there we go. There are our Watto jokes. They're very bad.
My audience, applause.
Yeah.
Here.
David Joseph Wesley on Twitter says Darth Maul rats. How did we miss that one?
Yeah.
That was a good one.
We were too busy making 5
Watto
Watto
jokes.
jokes.
All right, that's horrible. What's good is Rogue One. Rogue One's getting amazing reviews. People are really happy with it. I haven't read the reviews yet, but I just kind of hovered over the Rotten Tomatoes score, and I was like, okay, good. We're heading into good territory here. But the reception on the prequels, the other stories that took place before the main stories in Star Wars, has kind of been all over the place. But That's not to say that there's not good in them, right? And I think a lot of people just look at the prequels and they go, they suck, and they move on. But there are actually a lot of things in the Star Wars prequels that we really love. So we thought we would go through 25 of our favorite things in the Star Wars prequels to keep things positive and optimistic because there's good in everything.
Yeah.
Max, you want to get us started here?
Yeah, let's get this out of the way. Darth Maul kicks ass.
Yeah.
Darth Maul is awesome. He's great. I don't care that he's in the same movie as Jar Jar Binks. He's awesome. Okay? And it sucks that we didn't get more of him, but I guess we kind of did. He came back with some spider legs, so there you go. Side note, so is pod racing.
No, this is pod racing.
This is pod racing.
Pod racing.
The fun fact about pod racing
so
is
long to do that this show.
it's so wizard. It's so wizard.
Yeah, like there's something incredibly daring about this, right? George Lucas was like, I'm going to put a 14.5-minute long racing scene in the middle of my Star Wars prequel.
Yeah.
Like it made no sense at all. There's nothing like that in any of their Star Wars movies, unless you count like the speeder bike sequence in Jedi. But even that's like not a race. It's a bunch of people getting killed.
And I
I
love
love
the
it.
spin-off games too.
Yeah,
they were so
totally.
fun.
Yes,
like that's
they're
the best
awesome.
thing.
So pod racing's great. Hayden Christensen is awful, but Ewan McGregor throughout the entire prequel trilogy is great. Ewan McGregor is awesome. He's a fantastic Obi-Wan, and I would be so happy to see him make a return to that role.
I think that they're trying to come up with excuses to get him
he's
back
just great.
in other ways. And he recorded those lines in Force Awakens too.
Absolutely. I mean,
yeah.
you think about the entire chunk of time between the prequels and A New Hope, where Obi-Wan was basically just hanging out in Tatooine and going to the bar and like killing people, I guess.
Fighting Tusken Raiders for the hell of it.
Yeah, just being like a crazy old Gran Torino type of dude.
These are kind of some obvious things. These are, everyone loves pod racing and Darth Maul and Obi-Wan. But I think it's time we give a shout out to Obi-Wan's lizard friend, the Boga.
Yeah, this
like
guy's really cool.
This is the most fun part of Revenge of the Sith. Revenge of the
He's
Sith.
got moves.
Yeah,
I think this guy adds some much needed slapstick to this movie. He's sort of like a Last Guardian and like sort of creature-esque. Yeah. He's like a bird lizard.
He's great.
And he makes weird noises and he runs up that building and then falls.
And like upside down.
Yeah, it's great. Like you kind of need that, like to realize like how crazy everything's going at the end of the third prequel, where you're like everyone's dying, the Jedis are getting killed, and then Obi-Wan just runs out and he's got this like pajamas on and he's just like running on this big thing.
I would play
great.
this spin-off game.
Me too.
Yeah.
That would be
Lizard-
awesome.
In
Lizard
VR.
racing.
Lizard Bird Wall Runner.
Now,
Yes.
I feel like I gotta bring it up. Watto is great.
Oh, that's the
Watto's
happiest I've ever
fantastic.
seen him.
Oh,
He's so happy that he's getting so much time in the spotlight.
gets to hang
boy
out
I own is racing his engine car. The puppet is trying to kill him with saw blades.
You can have your mother back.
Yes.
He's hanging out with Willow. This is a good
I
moment
will
right
sell
here.
this woman to a one-legged man who lives in the desert. Ah, yes. Watto's great because you can do impressions of him, and it's really fun.
That's the best thing.
And not racist because you're doing Watto, not somebody else.
yeah. Also, what's up with that weird little vest?
I don't know.
That's
He's
very
super
strange.
weird in the second one too, where
he
he's
just
got
made
that.
so much money over the course of
Hey,
everything that he
I
just
sold
has
the
a better
boy and
attire
I-
by this point. Yeah.
He's like 80 in Attack of the Clones, and he's got like this tin can hat. And he's like,
sell
I miss his jaunty little hat.
I sell
though.
the woman, I buy no hat. No hat for
"Hey, is that
Watto.
you?"
That's Warwick Davis.
I can't believe you didn't end on Watto after
No.
all this build-up.
And we got plenty more.
We got lots
do.
more. Let's get through these. Coruscant. Coruscant is awesome. It's Blade Runner City. It's a city planet. We finally get to see it properly. We got to see it for a second in Return of the Jedi Special Edition. But like this was, I mean, pretty much the main setting of the prequels was like this cool-ass world. And like it's just... exciting.
And I know
It's
you guys are
gorgeous.
talking about toys later in this. Not as exciting toys. My favorite toy, because I didn't really collect all the Star Wars toys, but I did get this sweet Pizza Hut little toy that was a wind-up Coruscant that you
it's
wound
the-
it up
the
to.
little
You press
ball.
it, opens, and then
right?
Padme is
But
in it.
it's-
She's
aren't those
like
cool?
bouncing in
Isn't
front
it
of the
just,
Senate.
it's just like the senators in there? And they're
Yeah,
like,
I loved it
talk
though.
about
I used
trade
it all the time
regulations.
until it stopped working. It was great.
Well, maybe
Oh,
we have a
Coruscant,
line
miss
around.
you.
We actually, I think we do somewhere. So we'll see if we can
Came
find
home
that.
with me.
General Grievous. Everyone has. I mean, the people have their, complaints and grievances. Some people didn't like him because he starts
one.
at the movie and he's just coughing.
I kind of love that. He's a robot that has like
He's got,
a lung
3
problem.
organs.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't know if he's like if Darth Vader is like 80% robot and 20% man, maybe Grievous is like 3% man. Like, is there a lung in there
he's
that's
just
just old
weird.
and used?
I
He's got
gotta
these-
say,
yeah.
kudos to him for having great force powers because he's
Yeah.
not well protected there, and yet it takes a while
Yep.
before he fights and
like
stuff
the-
happens. I don't know. Are we still
I just-
doing prequel spoilers?
Yeah, totally. Like, I mean, the fact that he
Yeah.
collects lightsabers, that he has his animation's awesome. Like,
Yeah.
there's like a lot of stuff in the prequels that looks kind of funny when you watch it now, but this guy just looks great.
Yeah. Well, on the subject of villains, Count Dooku's cape.
Yep.
I really like his cape. Also, Christopher Lee is awesome. He's just like, I feel like they were going down the list of like great actors they needed to have in the prequels, and they just got him in there, and he's like that whole scene is a little bit too much CG there. I like that he's got that funny speeder bike and that weird like lamp robot that drives his solar sailor spaceship, but We get in arguments all the time about his curved lightsaber, Brian. I think it's cool.
Well, he's also like he's hanging out with he's like a rich guy who's super powerful, but he hangs out with like insect men and this like toilet planet. There's something pretty
The
pretty
Jedi
awesome about
clearly
that.
didn't go his way.
Yeah.
I can't wait until we get to like 2040 though, and they're running out of ideas for Star Wars movies, and they're like the cape manufacturers of the galaxy far, far away. Because Darth Vader too, like why?
Yeah, who is making these capes?
I want to know. I'm adding that to the list of to the spin-offs we do want to see.
The cape maker.
The Geonosian Arena monsters are basically CG Rancors turned up to 11. They have 3 of them. This is the Acklay. I like it because it is a praying mantis dinosaur. There's also the Reek, which is basically a Triceratops rhino. And then there's a Nexu, which is like a nasty cat spider man.
I like that you know that too. That is Star Wars knowledge that is in your brain. You are not reading off a prompter for that. I'm very impressed.
No, I have things stuck in my head that are. Oh, hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, buddy.
Make him
Hey,
talk.
baby.
You gotta make him talk.
Hey
You gotta say
everyone,
something.
it's me, the Rancor.
I heard my name. I'm glad the Rancor couldn't talk. Okay, so a lot of people get mad at the prequels for being like too kid-friendly and too like silly and like playful. Sometimes that's true. Jar Jar Binks is a big bone of contention, but there's a lot of funny stuff that happens, such as the part where the Eopie farts directly into his mouth.
Yeah,
Also, Eopies are really
I
funny.
like the silver lining right under. Like the placement could not be better,
Just
guys.
this
yeah, it's
awful,
right on
like,
his
yeah.
taint. It's really gross. He's like an elephant horse. I have a lot of problems with this thing,
I don't think we're allowed to describe this on this mostly safe for work show that we do here. But I like the Eopie when he. Actually, fun fact: I had eopiefarts@hotmail.com as an email address when I was in like 7th grade, and my mom made me change it because she's like, I'm not telling that to your aunt. I'm not.
This is one of those things you talk about a lot. It's also the first time I saw the Star Wars prequels. I saw Jar Jar Binks in Phantom Menace, and I'm like, I'm really sick of this guy. And he gets farted in his mouth. I'm like, come on, this movie's so stupid. But watching it repeatedly, you really look forward to the part where he gets farted in his mouth because I don't like Jar Jar Binks, and I want an elephant horse to fart in his mouth.
That's awesome.
That's what he needs.
I like the part where Darth Vader goes and kills a bunch of Tusken Raiders.
Yeah,
I like
He's not even Darth Vader yet.
Well,
It's
he's getting there.
he's just like shows up and he's just like,
just having
hey,
a
I'm gonna
bad
kill
day.
you and your horses or whatever
Yeah.
those things are.
I killed them. Their families. Oh God, it's awful. But I do like the Tusken Raiders. They're really funny. They're just like, they're gun mummies that live in the desert. They got these weird adobe poop huts that are probably made out of bantha poodoo or whatever.
Yeah.
But like, and they're just like hanging out, and this dude shows up with a laser sword and just kills them all. It's terrible. So anyway, I like
Horse
Tusken
me.
Raiders.
They also walk single file because they're lonely.
All right, so Jedi Knights, really cool. I feel like we don't get enough of them properly. I mean, there's 2 TV shows, or there's a TV show devoted to them. Plo Koon, really, he looks like a predator. He's terrifying.
He doesn't make any sense.
He's a good guy, but you're like, how would I ever get that?
Because Max and I have very specific brain damage. We were having a conversation with each other the other day about how after the Jedi Council meetings, Yoda and Yaddle and the other dudes are probably like, you guys want to get to a bite to eat? And Plo Koon's like, I cannot.
What I want to know, and I'm sure that it's been resolved in some sort of novelization, in which case yell at me on Twitter and tell me what this is, but obviously you don't come out of the womb like that, right?
Right.
What's sort of the transformation?
I think he has
there?
Bane's disease.
If I had to guess, it's probably because he breathes an atmosphere that.
And do you have good health insurance that covers that?
I would be willing to bet the Jedi are just a bunch of rampant socialists. So
well, he looks like it's like Corvo's mask from Dishonored mixed
Yeah.
with the cauliflower heads from The
But
Last
it's
of
like
Us.
the eyes,
fancy.
and,
Yeah.
what's
Yeah,
going on under that cape again? Going back to the cape
So
manufacturers.
Zuckuss, the bounty hunter, he has to breathe ammonia gas basically. So his whole spaceship probably smells like cat pee, and that's why he hangs out with Forlon, that lame robot.
I think you breathe
that-
ammonia gas.
I would explain a lot, but I'm guessing that Plo Koon probably has a similar thing, but instead
Right.
of wearing like a horrible gas, well, he's got a surgical gas mask.
Max,
That's
let's get to my favorite thing on this list. The part where Sebulba chokes Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah,
Again,
so-
he gets a
yeah.
fart in the mouth and he gets choked. And he really earns those moments.
Pretty rapid succession.
He accidentally, he is a frog, but he tries to eat a different, smaller frog, and then the frog goes and lands on this man who's got feet for hands,
Yep.
and then the man strangles him, and then he's rescued by an 8-year-old boy.
I like Sebulba because he's like if Snidely Whiplash had to grow a mustache with skin. Like, it's super gross looking.
Yeah.
He's just like this disgusting villain. But
Yeah.
He's got those funny little frog ears.
Yeah,
I was gonna recommend Sebulba for the list of
good.
spin-offs we didn't want, but I think
Okay.
a Sebulba gangster animated story.
Yeah, I think it'd be great.
Killer.
Yeah, also he hangs out with those two Twilek ladies because he drives
Yep.
a fast car. Mace Windu.
Awesome.
Mace Windu. They just put Sam Jackson in the prequels for the hell of it, you know?
Yeah. Purple.
Yeah, he's
just
just-
yell
That's it.
purple.
Yeah. All right, some more Jedi Knights that I like. I've been really obsessed with the Oppo Rensisis lately.
No, come on.
What? I put him on this list because I felt like it. He looks like Santa Claus, but he's got a snake tail like that dude from the G.I. Joe movie.
He looks like a Star Wars holiday special outtake that made his way back into.
He looks like a tribal shrunken head made out of a llama.
Yeah.
Like it's
What's
gross.
wrong with that? He looks like a Star Wars alien.
I don't
It's
like his
great.
hair.
His
I'll be
shower
honest.
drain is gonna be so gross. He never cleans it.
There's just like a little sheep in there.
I don't even know what he does in the prequels. I need to watch episode 1 again just to see what he
Grosses me
does.
out.
Is the rest of
What's
his
the
hair
next
covered
one?
with as much
Well,
his
the
body?
rest of him is a snake, so no.
Oh God!
All right. The Naboo starfighters, I think, are fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that they are totally like fancy and ornate. They look like sports cars. They were totally based on like old like private planes or whatever, race cars, whatever the hell. But like, it totally makes sense that this like wussy planet like Naboo would have these decorative military ships that don't do a whole lot of good against an actual army. So yeah, they're great. It's a good time.
I agree.
Ship.
Those are really cool ships.
You know what's a great part of the Star Wars films is when Jar Jar Binks steps in feces. I couldn't actually find an image of that, so here's a part of what he looks like without CG. I love that image.
Yeah, Max, you and I were saying before that it'd be awesome if they made action figures of
I want behind the
moments like
scenes
this.
action figures. Yeah, I think it's a good idea. Anyway, the part where Jar Jar Binks steps in feces is great, along with the part where he gets farted in the mouth and choked.
Isn't it great to get a bunch of like Academy Award nominated actors together to wear pajamas and talk to a giant like frog man?
Yeah,
They
that's,
loved
let's
it.
see, that's the man from Schindler's List and the young fella from Trainspotting, and in the middle is a dude dressed as a frog.
Yep.
Star Wars is great. Speaking of great stuff, here's that young man from Velvet Goldmine hanging out with a different type of frog that owns a restaurant and scratches his bottom with his extra arms.
Yeah, Dexter Jettster's awesome. He's entirely CG, so he's really funny looking in the movie, especially when they go to hug him. It just looks like you're holding like a bag of pretzels.
And I bet that's
But
what they were holding.
He also looks the most like me, so
Yeah.
I'm really into that. Like if I just wore stained white T-shirts everywhere and owned a diner.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
So Aura Singh, totally random background character where they just were like, hey, she looks cool, let's throw her in the background doing nothing. And then, of course, nerds picked it up. She was kind of the Boba Fett of the prequels, and to the point that they retconned it or whatever so that she actually trained Boba Fett in Clone Wars. Just a badass, cool background character, and that's the stuff that really makes Star Wars what it is. So on that note, yeah, this dude, Tion Medin, and his scary friends behind him.
Yeah, these are all played by Steve Buscemi. A lot of people don't know that.
Actually, fun true trivia fact, the dude who played Tion Medin is typecast as a guy with messed up teeth. He also played the mouth of Sauron in the Lord of the Rings extended version, another guy with messed up teeth. And he plays the gyrocopter pilot in Mad Max and Beyond Thunderdome.
They're also in Tion Madden's 2017 by EA Sports, which you can play next year on your Xbox One, PC, or PS4.
Yes.
It's terrible.
I get it. I like the part where Obi-Wan gets so sick of dealing with Hayden Christensen that he just goes and pounds blue shots in a bar.
Yeah, and Mouse from the Matrix movies tries to sell him cigarettes. What? Okay.
I like Star Wars.
That's a great moment.
Yeah. So obviously I'm a big Boba Fett nerd. I was excited when I heard that the man from Whale Rider would be playing Boba Fett's dad or whatever.
Weird sentence.
I don't really like that they made Jango Fett the way he is, but I think that Tamira Morrison is like a great actor. Like he's just a really cool dude. He looks like Boba Fett should.
I like Camino in general as a planet too. I think it's really cool just to have these weird sort of like 1950s looking aliens with super long necks
I just
walking
wish
around
we
this
could
water
have them
planet.
make it now because
know.
it just aged so poorly.
It looks really weird. I love the art direction. Like, it's one of those things where I can appreciate the concept art and the idea more than the actual execution.
Right.
But I'm glad it's there either way.
Yeah, I like Tamira Morrison. He's great in Whale Rider.
Yeah.
Anyway, I also like these Aqualish senators because they look like scary tarantulas.
His Uncle Ponda Baba's over here.
Yeah.
I like that this is like Ponda Baba theoretically is an ugly version of one of these guys. Like these guys are all politicians, so they're theoretically very rich and well dressed.
And
But
they're so
Ponda Baba,
beautiful.
like, but he's like they're like more scary. They've got like
That's
extra
like
eyes.
it's like Twilight Zone pig face rules of handsomeness and beauty here, because
Very
these guys are
scary.
increasingly
Yeah.
uglier than Ponda Baba is. Ponda Baba was like a low-level dude getting drunk at a bar losing an arm. So
Yeah, it's great.
tough world.
John Williams' music for the prequels is
Dun, dun,
fantastic.
dun, dun, dun.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's been a Star Wars song as good as Duel of the Fates.
Agreed.
Since
Yeah,
Duel of the Fates.
totally.
And it's so good.
Yeah.
You know it.
Yeah.
You know it, you hear it, you think Star Wars.
Yeah,
it's
it's
beautiful.
it's awesome. It gets you pumped up. You can be having the worst day of your life and you hear that song and you're ready to do something.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun, 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 dun. So anyway, finally, really important one here. I really like Zam Wessel.
Yeah.
Is the shape-shifting woman who puts centipedes in Natalie Portman's bedroom at night.
Yes. Thank you for doing
Attack of
that.
the Clones, man.
Does it
Attack
give
of
us
the
that?
Clones is weird, but
it gave us that great scene where Obi-Wan and Anakin are having a conversation. They're like, "Yeah, you know, we got. Oh my God, there's a snail in there.
There's a gross bug in there.
It's great."
Anyway, yeah, Star Wars is a weird hot mess of strange things all put together for no apparent reason. Terry, I'm very excited to read your review of Rogue One.
Well, you won't
I
because
won't, 'cause I'm gonna
Eric
see it.
Goldman
Well,
wrote
whatever.
it.
I'll talk to you about it.
But I'll write
Okay,
one
write me a
just for
review.
you.
I suck
just
at that.
for you.
Anyway.
2,000 words, no fewer.
I'll read your Twitter feed. But yeah, Rogue One. We're gonna go see it, and then we can have a nice conversation
Can't wait for
about
everyone
it.
to see it.
It's out tonight, tomorrow, this weekend. I think
Forever.
we're seeing it 2 or 3 times, 4 times. Who knows?
Yeah.
This is awesome.
We
You've
got
seen it
brain
twice
problems.
already.
I've seen it twice.
This is so cool. Star Wars
Sorry,
is
I keep
awesome.
rubbing it in.
So what I like about Rogue One, kind of, sort of, is it's telling the story of the Death Star plans getting stolen, which was actually the first level of Dark Forces. So they're paving over one of my favorite games of all time, but I hope it's okay. In any case, we tried to steal Death Star plans in a game from 1994, which it was actually probably would have been easier to steal Death Star plans than to get this game running on a modern PC. So,
That's true.
Let's take a look.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Brian Altano. This is Max Scoville, and we are playing Dark Forces, a Star Wars classic PC game from decades ago. Did I get that right? Decades? Hundreds of years?
This is from like 1994, I think. You play as Kyle Katarn. The first
Yep.
mission is, in fact, stealing the Death Star plans.
Okay, so we're going to see if we can actually steal the Death Star plans in 5 minutes. So I just put 5 minutes on the clock. We're going to see if you're actually capable of doing that.
I used to
Star
know
Wars
this,
games have come a long
I
way.
used to know this level like the back of my hand.
Really?
This blaster actually just showed up in Star Wars Battlefront
Oh, right.
as an unlockable thing.
Okay. So this is very, very 90s PC. It feels kind of like Doom, where everything's
Yes. Like I'm
fuzzy
using
looking.
the mouse to turn and kind of strafing with the keyboard, but this is like definitely.
Let's talk more action, my man.
I'm going,
You
man.
got
Come
4
on,
minutes
give
and
me a
30
break.
seconds, steal those Death Star plans, pass them off to Jen Urso.
There we go. All right, I open the door. Don't you talk to me like that, you sassy boy.
I always love these games because they're like, it's like all the ship interiors are like 70% tech and then 60% like stone.
Yeah, I mean it's all polystone and
Also, my math might be a little off there. I don't think that gets up to it.
math is hard. So is making games.
You use some old TIE fighters to build those doors.
Probably. This game is like
It's cool.
it's damn ambitious,
Yeah,
Like, this
totally.
this was coming out like alongside Doom and stuff, Like it's weird to see games like Doom 2016 and like Battlefront coming out like kind of side by side because
totally.
they were like sort of I don't know colleagues.
This is a weird tunnel. You always end up in these dark crevasses.
Yeah, I know. I think there's like stuff up there. If I'm trying to do like a speed run, like I haven't really done like rehearsals or researches or anything.
Not at all. We just went in blind. It's okay.
Did I just come from there? Who's that man? Get down from there, dude. Come on. All right, so there is in fact. I'm gonna run a sprint. It is fun music.
You used to play this a lot as a kid when you were like a.
This was like one of my favorite games of all time ever. Period.
How did you get like the shareware version first?
I played it at like a babysitter's house, and yeah, like the whole first mission is like, oh, it's really hard to navigate this. If there's dudes there, you know that you're in a new place.
That's true.
It's a good sign. Also, look at the aiming here.
Yeah,
I'm just like shooting diagonally up.
There it is. That classic Star Wars moment where you get back to the beginning of the game.
Yeah, pretty much. Damn it.
It's okay.
I think this thing opens, maybe? I don't know.
You still have 2.5 minutes to steal the Death Star plans and pass them to Jyn Erso.
Crap in a hat. Also, like, I love that they were like, oh, you have to use the door to open the door, the switch in the thing. And dicks.
Yeah, this video game levels, like if you look at them from the perspective of somebody that actually has to work there,
I got the red key.
There we
The red
go.
key is key. It's key. That's what it is. Yeah.
it's basically impossible. Okay, so that doesn't. Can you use that key on that?
Did I
door?
do it? Did I open it?
No.
Was that where I came from?
No.
I don't know. I need the red key. This is like all like Doom logic, and I forgot how to play this game.
It's okay. Just a little background story for our audience here. We asked the IGN crew if they could help us set this game up because it's 20 years old and playing it with and streaming it, capturing it. It's all kind of a pain in the butt for us for some odd reason. And it took about an hour.
Yeah.
Top to bottom. This is such a technical mess. You could probably play this pretty easily at home, but in terms of making a video out of it, that took us a long time. I'm not above saying that. That little tale. And we're only going to play it for 5 minutes, and we're not doing well. So
It's pretty rough.
Definitely
but yeah,
a good use of company
I
time.
imagine the CG in Rogue One's going to be a little bit better than this. I don't think that Kyle Katarn's going to make an appearance, but you never know. Maybe he will.
So this was your favorite game? Did you just like used to go up to the wall and kiss it? Was that your favorite thing?
Yeah, wall kisser, 3D. It was crazy back. There we go. That's what I'm
This
talking
is the
about.
thing you have to do?
This is like back when games were, I don't know, they
That's
were harder.
just a secret. That's a secret area. That's not where we need to go with the red key door.
Oh, there's like stuff over there.
Uh-huh.
Is it over here? Like over here?
No.
This way?
It's not to tell, actually, because every single part of this looks exactly the same.
Also, we were playing it on like CRT monitors, and like now we're playing it on like weird, HD TVs. This wasn't designed for this stuff.
What does that mean?
I mean, like it's a different game. Like
Is that your excuse for being a big pile of dungus?
There's that too, yeah. I mean, that's a good excuse, right?
That is a pretty good excuse. I'll take it. Judges.
Just going around in circles. Someone's mad.
Just go in there. That'll look good. You gotta
Is it
open
just
that
in
door. Yeah.
Oof. Someone's mad. Is this it? Right there?
That's.
It might be it. Am I gonna do it? Am I gonna do it?
We might get the
Am I
Death
gonna
Star
do it?
plans.
Oh.
You have 12 seconds.
Oh, come on. Open the door.
What
Is it
did
over
that
there?
do? No, I don't think that did anything.
There's like a droid or something?
There's no droid.
There was a
2,
droid.
1, and you are done.
Damn it.
Well, everybody, this is.
Can I kill this mouse droid?
There he is. Well,
Maybe
that's
he-
what an old-ass Star Wars game looks like in first person. I have fond memories of these games. Max does as well. We are not that great at them. Are you almost
Hold
done?
on. I think I'm almost done, yeah.
Okay, well, let's let it
Is it
out.
through here?
Right out there.
I don't know. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
Look at this guy. He's this. They say the stormtroopers are bad at shooting.
Yeah, for
shooting,
sure.
man. I'm doing okay here.
Yeah.
Do I jump over there?
No, we don't know. Nobody knows.
No one knows the secrets of the stormtrooper. All right, maybe I'm not almost done.
Yeah, maybe not.
Okay,
But
well-
we got far. We almost beat the level. And maybe you can do better. You can try this game out.
Yeah, if you've never played this old ass game, like check it out. It's great. Like in spite of my fumbling, it's fun old school first person shooter stuff. It's honestly like it's weird. This came out the same year as Doom 2, one of the best first person shooters of all time, and this is the same kind of stuff, but it's in the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, and if you want to see an actual good-looking movie where they try to steal the Death Star plans, Rogue One in theaters right now. We're going to go see that movie very, very soon. So thank you so much for watching Star Wars.
Yeah.
Not
We are
bad.
back.
We did all right.
No, we didn't. That was terrible. That was awful. I love that. I'm like, I love this game. I don't know how to play this game anymore. So Rogue One, a Star Wars story. It's a Star Wars story. It's not a standalone Star Wars film and the bigger thing or whatever. It is a standalone, whatever. Anyway,
Right.
Point is, they're doing more and more of these. We're getting the Han Solo movie real soon. I'm tentatively excited about this. I feel like a lot of people are worried because they're casting a lot of kind of familiar faces.
Yes.
We just got news that Amelia Clarke is going to be in it as a kind of mystery character. We know her all very well as Khaleesi in Game of Thrones.
Of course. She's been in some other stuff too. There's that romantic comedy where she dates the guy in the wheelchair, and then
Yeah.
she was also in Terminator, Jenna and Size.
Yeah. Thing is, like, I don't have a problem with her, but I do have a problem with her being so instantly recognizable.
Yes.
And I feel like it's going to take me out of Star Wars. Like, Greg Grunberg showed up in The Force Awakens, and I was like, hey, I know that dude from a bunch of other J.J. Abrams stuff. Like, he's reminding me that I don't know. It's just it's like reminding me that I'm watching a movie, not that I'm getting stuck in this strange universe. So if they're going to use Amelia Clarke in the Han Solo movie, I really, really hope she's not a human being. I hope that she plays one of the many other just myriad races of weird people in Star Wars, like, for instance, a Twi'lek. I think that is a great idea.
I boomeranged on this so fast because I wasn't crazy about her being in this movie. I saw this image that you made, and I was like, I love this so much. This is perfect.
Yeah, Twi'leks are kind of a fan favorite Star Wars race. We haven't really seen any front and center. So that would be really cool. We could also go a little deeper cut. We could get her as a Togruta, which is what Shakti and what's her face, Anakin's pal, Ahsoka are.
Yep.
So that's cool. And then, of course, if we wanted to get even deeper cut and with probably less makeup, you could be what like Barriss Offee is, which is Muriel, and you basically just paint her green and put some stuff on her face.
And I love this.
But yeah,
this
like
looks great.
it's just those are all pictures of Amelia Clarke, but you know, it just made some little changes there. And hey, all of a sudden, it's like this is Star Wars. This isn't just that lady from HBO.
And Max, I like that a lot, but I think it's playing it a little safe. I mean, those are all like sort of female characters that you would see in Star Wars movies already, but what if we got a little crazier, such as Amelia the Hutt?
Yeah, this is a terrible idea, and I don't like it one bit, and I resisted your urge to make these images. What else do you have up your sleeve, Brian? Like, that's not even a picture of just a hut. That's an action figure.
Hey, shut up.
You awful man.
Hold up.
All right.
What about a Wookiee?
Why not? What about
Just
not?
bury her in
Just
fur.
Terrible.
I think I photoshopped this so bad you can still see Chewbacca's mouth under
This is
hers.
awful. Why did
I was
like-
getting chased by the cops
I
on
spent
this
all this
one.
time. I'm like, I'm gonna make her look like Barriss Offee.
Don't bother. Who cares? What about a Celestin? Yeah.
What about
like,
nightmares for days?
like Minion. How gross is this?
She looks like that's terrible. Ugh.
one more. Let's do
Leatherface.
one more. What else we got? A Kowakian monkey lizard. How's
No,
that?
stop.
Why? I think she looked great.
I
You
don't
put-
think Amelia Clarke is going to be in a film where they make her play a Muppet like
what
that.
if she is the Salacious Crumb and she's also playing a Hutt, so she's both characters?
Shut up. That's terrible.
Okay, fine.
All right.
Finally, a Gungan.
Yeah, because
beautiful Lady Gungan.
This is the worst Photoshop you've ever done. Stop this.
What
This
a
is terrible.
beautiful kissy Gungan.
She looks vaguely like Nicolas Cage there. Anyway, who do you think Amelia Clarke should play in Han Solo, a Star Wars adventure, or whatever the hell they're going to call it? I hope it's anything but what he photoshopped, because those are all terrifying. And Amelia, stop showing it.
Thank you
Put
for
it
showing
away.
that.
Put it
This
away.
Art do not censor art.
Stop,
It should
please.
be shown everywhere.
Literally, please
If you
censor
have a
this art.
printer at your job, print this out and put it up everywhere. Put it up in the lunchroom and then send me a picture. I want everyone to know. There she is.
Put it away. Put it away. End this segment now.
Max, it's wintertime. It's getting very cold out there. Even here in San Francisco, it's dropping to significantly colder temperatures. I know nowhere like where you live. You're probably like shoveling snow and stuff like that. Columbia actually partnered with Star Wars to create Rogue One jackets, which I think are one of the coolest things in the world.
The jacket company, not the country.
That's right. That is correct. Or the record label.
Yeah, you were like, Columbia sent me a jacket, and I was like, what?
The country, yeah. Now I'm in trouble. So they actually made this jacket based on Cassian Andor, who's in Star Wars Rogue One. It's sort of vaguely reminiscent of what Han Solo wore on Hoth. These are really nice, pretty high-end, very deluxe jackets. They've got a lot of the sort of like trimmings and accoutrements or greeblies that you'd expect from Star Wars. Very subtle in terms of like how Star Warsy they get.
I think this is great. You could fit like a whole finger in there.
Yeah, like a roll of quarters or something.
Yeah, all kinds of stuff.
I like to carry my friends' fingers with me everywhere, so
you could
that's
even-
helpful.
Actually, I'm kind of stuck.
Yeah.
They also have a couple other ones. They've got gorgeous. Here's what they all look like on the.
Can you get your finger out of my? Thank you.
I'm trying. Sorry. Yeah, here's some pictures of what they look like on the website. There's also a Jyn Erso ladies kind of jacket and vest combination, which they were nice enough to send to our very own Naomi Kyle. Come on to our cantina and model this jacket for us, Naomi. Check it
So
out.
here we go. This is so cool. How awesome is this? So
Yeah.
again, pretty subtle. It doesn't just say Star Wars across of it. You got little Rebel insignia. It's comfy, right?
Very comfortable.
Excellent. I love this thing. I love these jackets. I'm just gonna hide.
Yeah, the cool thing is he can't actually hear anything I say when he's like this. I think he's a damn idiot. But anyway, oh hey Brian, good to have you back.
Hey, did you say any good things about me while
Yeah,
I was
all
gone?
kinds of stuff. Yeah, like I love that we're getting this like stuff that's not just like a jacket that says Star Wars on it, but
Yeah.
like something that's more directly influenced by obviously the costumes and stuff. So
Keep in mind, these are pretty high end. They will run you a couple $100, and they're kind of hard to find. They're actually kind of selling out right now. And they make some other Star Wars inspired stuff. These are our two favorites by far. I really, really like these things. It's cool to see sort of high end, like kind of outerwear.
no, I'm stoked that we're getting stuff that's it's for adults. It's for people like us who are we want to pretend that we're grown ups, but we're not. We're not at all.
Now, on top of that, you could buy Star Wars toys. They're already pre-made. That's really fun.
Yeah.
We've obviously done that thousands of times. But a little more fun than that, if you are kind of like a little handier than that, are these Namco. Or no, Bandai, no, sorry, not Namco. These Bandai model kits. These are super cool. This is the new one based on the Red Squadron X-Wing Starfighter. Now, I've actually assembled it right here. I have not applied the decals or painted it yet. But this was, dozens of pieces put together. If you like Lego and you want something that's a little more high-end. Now, Max, you built tons of these, right? So you want to get into this a little bit?
So basically, if you've ever built a Gundam model kit, it's the same exact concept. You need to get a pair of shears, or if you're really in a pinch, you can just use some nail clippers and maybe mess it up. But yeah, like you get some X-Acto knives and everything snaps together. So if you don't want to get messy with paint and stuff, it comes with stickers you put on there. This Boba Fett is like, there's no paint on here. This is just what he looks like when you fully assemble him and put the stickers on.
Yep.
And they're articulated too. So there's like, you're building an action figure, which is awesome. I also got the Slave 1, which is real nice. I'm debating actually painting this, but it's like, in spite of the fact that they could have just been like, it's all one shade of gray, let's ship it and call it a day. They've got these kind of like nuanced, variations in color schemes. You've got the droids,
Yeah,
which
so
are
maybe if you're not crazy about actual ships and stuff like that, these droids are wonderful, and they're super articulate, which you wouldn't really expect from a model kit. They also have different things that pop out, like you can make a version of R2-D2 that has, when he opens up all of his panels and has all this crazy stuff going on. We've also got a little BB-8, which I built. He's super adorable. This was like maybe 40 pieces that all snap together. That's something I really want to point out about this stuff, is you get something like this, Mr. Tools, this little sort of like hobby pliers here.
Oh, it is actually called Mr. Tools.
Yeah,
I thought
Mr.
you were
Tools.
just having a weird brain fart there.
And they snap together, so you won't really need hot glue or crazy glue unless you really screw something up.
And I mean, they're kind of flimsy, but because they're plastic model kits, but like they're gorgeous to display, and it's like a cool way to spend a rainy afternoon. I've built a ton of Gundams. These are like kind of high grade quality, and they just actually started releasing them stateside. I think you could get them imported on Amazon for a second, but this just means they'll be cheaper and easier to find. So yeah, if you like model kits, build them.
Yeah, this is
because
the
they're
place
fun.
to be. It's honestly like one of my favorite ways to spend a night. Just throw on Star Wars, sit in front of your coffee table, and build an X-Wing.
Yeah, now, so obviously, as we've mentioned numerous times, we have brain damage, and we like to continue buying Star Wars toys.
Yes.
We figured we'd run down our 10 personal favorite Star Wars toys ever of all time, period.
I'm really excited about this.
Let's get into this. You like Bib Fortunas. You want to get your bib out here?
Yeah, so I actually collect Bib Fortunas because he's just a weird, bizarre background character. You see him at the beginning of Return of the Jedi. He's basically like Jabba the Hutt's like bouncer or bodyguard, or sort of just like the
Major Domo.
Yeah, that skeevy guy you would catch at like at a strip club, being like, "How many of you are there?" This is a 12-inch scale figure that they made a couple years ago.
You can hike his pants up all weird.
That's super weird. I don't like that at all.
You're always doing that.
Yeah,
You're always
this
like
came-
posing him all nasty.
This came out in the 90s, and I like him a lot just because he's got this really awful face. He's just like, ugh. Can we get a good shot of him right there? Like, ugh, what are you doing? It's
bad.
just disgusting.
Obviously, you collect Bib Fortunas. I collect Boba Fett's. This is one of my favorite toys ever. This was a special edition Hasbro figure that they said was the 300th figure ever. Fun fact. Totally isn't. They just kind of made that up.
Really?
There were a bunch of arbitrary figures. If you actually do the math, I forget. I think it's way more than that.
Yeah.
But they had this little thing on the back where they're like, oh, here's the very first. It was the early bird special Luke Skywalker. But there's a whole thing, if you're familiar in the 70s, the missile launching Boba Fett never actually came out. So to celebrate this kind of momentous occasion and charge idiots like me extra money for a fancy package, they put this figure out, and I keep it in the box because.
Speaking of packaging, fun fact about the new Rogue One toys: they are the first Star Wars toys to not feature other toys on the back of the box. This is like a
really strange.
It's so weird. That's like been a long time thing I've always loved about action figures. You saw us playing with the Rancor earlier in the show. This is the original Kenner Rancor that came out for Return of the Jedi. I did not have this growing up, but a friend did. Eventually, I rebought it in college, but his arm broke off. I got him at a yard sale. And just recently, I got this guy on eBay. I love him a lot because every time I show him to people, people tell me stories about how they had him as a kid and they used to shove Jawas in his mouth and stuff like that.
Almost lost my
He's really good at
snaggletooth
eating.
there.
Like when the Lonely Island was on up at noon, we got to do a bit where we puppeteered this guy, so that was a really good time.
Don't eat Snaggletooth, that's terrible.
Yeah.
So Snaggletooth is a character who has like a weird, long, kind of sordid history as an action figure. This is the one from, I guess, 77, 78. They made this toy, and back then Star Wars toys were like $3 or whatever, and you buy them from the Sears catalog. They made this guy, and people didn't buy him because they were like, he's smaller than the rest of them. So they were like, okay, we'll make a different one. And so they made this weird giant Snaggletooth who's like this blue dude who's like got like a full human-sized body and is like a whole bunch taller. And there's a bunch of like weird, collector variations on them. More recently, Gentle Giant has started doing full-size replicas of the old Kenner toys.
Yep.
They've done almost the entire line. I think they might have actually done the entire line. But yeah, you got me this for my birthday last year.
I did, yeah.
And it's like
it's such a weird thing to give an adult man.
It's such a bizarre toy. It's just also, I literally carry a photo of this guy in my wallet because it's
Yeah.
funny. And whenever I'm like, there's an awkward silence, I'll just pull it out and be like, this is my son. He's in college right now. And people are like, what's wrong with you? Why would you say
about that? You got to stop doing that.
It's really funny to me.
Super weird. I love Lego. I always have. Star Wars Lego have become one of my favorite things in the world, and I really love the AT-ST. So just recently for Rogue One, one of the cool things about that movie is it has AT-STs. It's got chicken walkers. They're back. So they built a brand new set, which is super cool. It shoots missiles. It comes with a bunch of little men.
Does it open up?
And it opens up.
Look
Yeah.
at that.
So
Full
there's
little things in there. Oh,
Yeah.
there's a thermal detonator in there.
I love this kit. I was like really sick one day, and I was kind of like bummed out and depressed about 2016 in general. And I went to Target and I bought a bunch of like cold medicine. And while I was there, I just walked through the toy section like I do and will always do until I'm dead.
Yeah.
And I saw this new kit on sale. It was like $28. So I bought it, brought it home, built it, and I immediately felt better. Star Wars Lego are chicken soup for the hands.
Chicken soup for the hands, you weird dude. So here's a really weird thing to own. I actually found this on somebody else's desk. I think this belonged to Anthony Gallegos.
This was Anthony Gallegos, that's right.
So you want to see something really just
I put
gross?
that water in here a very long time ago.
I washed it out. So it's but this is Back to Tank Luke. This came out in around 2000, and this was one of the first like deluxe big ones.
Bubble it? Oh, it's so nasty.
Yeah.
I really think that water originally was there from when Anthony worked here, which is like 4 years ago.
Probably going to give me a staph infection. Yeah. But anyway, I love that it also, you can get the FX7 droid and just plug him in there, and he's just like...
Yeah, he's great.
Like, this is when they were straight up just out of ideas, and they were like, all right, we'll get the part where Mark Hamill's in a diaper hanging from a bungee cord.
Yep.
Okay.
On top of that, I really love the Star Wars Black Series Jabba the Hutt. He's really drooly and gross. I put a little Salacious Crumb on his tail, and I had this pizza toy at my desk that I make him eat. It's so gross.
I like that it just looks like a croissant. It's so stupid.
Yeah, and it's also cool. You don't really get to see this part on Jabba a lot, his back fat. I love this. This is awesome.
Real floppy
One
dude.
of my favorites.
So the older toys, I didn't really get into them until I started getting older myself because they weren't as cool as the new young ones or whatever. But this is a classic kind of Empire Chewie, and then they sold separately this 3PO that you could explode and put in all his body parts, and then give this weird like tote bag that goes on Chewie's back. I just love this Chewbacca because of this terrible expression on his face. It just looks like this kind of like chocolate bear dude.
Well, it's just like, what would you do if your friend was in parts in your backpack?
Yeah, so you build them back together. This is like a fun little action feature, and I don't know. It's just like a funny little playset together.
And I've showed off this one before. I really love this. In the 90s, Lego partnered, or Star Wars partnered with Micro Machines, and they made these little kits. This is just in a little R2, and he's great, but when you open him up, you actually get one of my favorite scenes from any Star Wars. So it's terrifying right here.
Yeah.
This is Jabba's palace. So Jabba's in there, his little throne. We've got the skiff over here. We got this tiny little Rancor, which I just adore.
Yeah.
Cool little set. There's a trapdoor that I glued shut.
There's actually a straight up topless Twilek in here. Like,
Yeah.
There's Ula's not wearing a top in this. They've got a bunch. They've got the torture droid. They got the Max Rebo band. The weirdest thing is there's this dude here who I've never seen before next to Malakili who just looks like kind of just a generic Indian man.
Yeah, there's just a painting of a generic Indian guy.
Yeah, he's just this weird dude hanging out here.
Yeah.
Of course, Micro Machines fun and small and everything, but this wouldn't be a good proper list if we didn't bust this guy out. The classic Millennium Falcon. This is actually not the original one, but they use the same mold.
Yep.
Supposed to make
great.
a bunch of noises and stuff. I just like, this is a space truck. That's a space truck that has like a, it's got the Dejeric table back here, which is like a space Xbox. It's just like it's just a giant fun playset.
We were having like a rough week a couple weeks ago, and Brandon Hunt came in and he gave us the original walkers, and he gave us this thing, and it's so much fun.
I like never had this as a kid.
I love Star Wars
four,
toys.
so,
It's
yeah.
just like you can have like the worst day of your life and just look down and just see this impossibly weird little like robot alien puppet man sitting on your desk, and you're like, all right, the universe isn't all that bad.
So those are our 10 favorite Star Wars
Yeah.
toys that we have on us. There's a lot more on our desk. What are your favorites? Let us know. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
Star Wars is about getting closer together with your friends and whatnot.
But Max, not all the Star Wars toys are great, right? Some of them are.
No, some of them are really just the
not
worst.
that good at all.
Star Wars is great because of its weird background characters and the strange details that you might notice. But as collectors grow increasingly bizarre and strange, you wind up with stuff like Aunt Beru, Luke's aunt. I don't think the word action figure is appropriate here. It's an elderly woman. She comes with blue milk as an accessory. So I figured I'd run down just the most boring, ridiculously kind of like last resort action figures that has been made for Star Wars. There's a lot to pick from. Of course, we've got Aunt Beru right here. This came out. It's had an Episode 1 flashback photo, which was when the prequels were about to start coming out. They would be like, oh, here's an action figure of like classic, Alec Guinness Obi-Wan, and you'd pull that thing, and they would turn him into Ewan McGregor. With this one, with Aunt Beru, they were like, yeah, well, you don't actually see her until Episode 2, so you pull that, and it just shows Anakin's mom, and you're like, all right, that's kind of similar, I guess, sort of.
She comes with her weird blue milk jugs.
So speaking of weird space dairy products, this is just a wonderfully bizarre figure that I'm surprised I don't have. This character's name is Wilro Hood. There is a dude who runs by in the background in Empire Strikes Back when Cloud City is being evacuated, who is carrying an ice cream maker. Like, it's not like a it's not an ice cream maker with a bunch of stuff glued to it. Somebody just went to like a kitchen supply store and was like, this looks space age enough. Let's have a guy carrying it. So people have noticed that and been like, what's his deal? So they wrote a whole backstory for him about how he's like this ice cream making dude who lives on Cloud City, and he's like about to start an ice cream parlor, but then like the Empire shows up, and so he's like, I've got to book it with my ice cream maker.
This action figure really leans into his pregnant belly. I had this one, the 2-1B medical droid.
I mean, like, it's such a weird figure because he looks like a terrifying death skeleton. He's got like a microphone for a mouth, and like all he does is basically like drain the Bacta tank for Luke. So like, okay, he's a nurse droid. That's
you actually
fine.
see them again working on Anakin when he turns into Darth Vader in Revenge of the Sith, which is like a really weird time to see them again. I mean, they're medical droids, so it sort of makes sense, but what?
They've also made like numerous ones of them. I don't know. Anyway, Episode 1 had some cool stuff. They had space wizards. They had a lot of stuff, but they also had Chancellor Valorum. Why would you buy an action figure of this? He's like, oh, it's the space head of the UN, I guess.
Yeah.
And it's Terrence Stamp, who's a great actor, but like, what do you do with this toy? You just have him talk. Like, he's got like a staff. You're like, I remember when like the movie was about to come out and everyone's like, man, this is gonna be such a cool movie. It's gonna be really exciting. And then it wound up with this seasoned actor just holding this staff and being like, oh, the Trade Federation, blah, blah, blah. And you're like,
So weird.
all right.
So weird.
On that note, C.O. Bibble, the Queen's aide. Great.
Goth Santa.
Yeah, the coolest. Yeah, it's just like, you know, when you're a kid, you make up your own stories. You're gonna get weird with them anyway. But like,
The thing is, and this is what I love Star Wars for, but also hate Star Wars for, is they're sort of legally required to make an action figure out of everything. It's why we have dozens of Ponda Babas and Bib Fortunas,
Pretty
but
much.
also we get guys like this.
or the waitress.
Yeah.
Ah, yes, the waitress droid with Gizmo Duck's foot.
I kind of want this.
Yeah, we should probably get that.
we should
actually,
probably get that.
and of course, the library droids. If there's anything weirder than a waitress droid, I believe they made an incredibly special edition of Jocasta Nu, who is the Jedi librarian, which is like, all right, you're really kind of out of ideas there, but whatever. Everyone's got to collect those characters.
Yep.
Speaking of Shmi Skywalker, here's a good old action figure of Pernelia August, that fan favorite, who comes with 8 pages of Jedi Force fact files.
What?
Yeah, it comes with a little fold-out thing full of trivia about Shmi Skywalker.
Finally.
Anyway, these guys are great. This is God, I forget the names. The one on the right is called like Lieutenant Daniel Fatoni or something. And the other one is like
Lieutenant Dan.
Akmak Bork or something. But they're just Star Wars names of Ahmed Best and Anthony Daniels. They made action figures of their cameos in Attack of the Clones where they're just dudes at a nightclub.
Very weird.
So they have background stories. I guess, honestly, they probably were just like, hey, we need some more extras. You two, the ones who normally take 15 hours to get into makeup or costume, you want to just wear some blue pants?
Just be
They were like,
yourselves.
yeah, sure. They're like,
Get
just
out
getting
there and
drunk
do
in
a
the back.
Star War.
So those are some of the weirdest, dumbest, just the lowest rent Star Wars figures, but there are plenty more to choose from.
That's true. That's very true.
I also just ordered this Jar Jar Binks dude.
What the hell is wrong with us,
I don't know.
honestly?
It's like it's an action figure of Ahmed Best drinking. Like that's kind of a great toy to have.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it. This is what I love about Star Wars is that it is weird. It's big budget, it's sci-fi, it's incredibly pronounced, but it's also weird as hell.
Yeah.
And it's given us, I think us specifically, and I think the dozens of people watching this show, a chance to celebrate how weird we are and how weird all this stuff can be. I mean, Star Wars is one of those things that got me drawing as a kid. It got me building sculptures. It made me want to go to art school. It got me into video games that I probably wouldn't have played. It got me listening to classical music at times.
Yep.
Like, there's so many things that Star Wars has sort of changed in terms of my life. Star Wars, there are Star Wars like prints hanging in my apartment. There are like Star Wars toys all over my desk at work. Max, you and I have been bonding over our love for Star Wars for years.
Yeah, no.
We've done comedy bits about Star Wars, failed comedy bits about Star Wars.
That's definitely true. I mean, Star Wars is just people get excited about it, people hype it up, people do hour-long holiday specials about it for a reason. It's not just this thing that you liked as a kid and therefore it's interesting. It's this bizarre intersection of art and technology. It changed the way movies get made. It changed the way things get merchandised, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. But like there's so much to unpack there. It changed the way people make films. Surround sound, digital filmmaking. We are currently on digital video, which was something that was pioneered by George Lucas.
Right. This is a fake set, which was also
Yeah.
George Lucas really would love.
Yeah, we're basically in a prequel right now.
Yeah.
But a prequel to
and
what?
There's something I really love about Star Wars in that you can understand it at a very young age on a very fundamental level, even if you don't know anything about like an evil patriarchy or corrupt governments or anything. Every little boy knows what it's like to hold a sword and swing it around. Every little girl wants to be a badass princess with a gun, kicking ass, and not taking any crap from anybody.
Space ant when I grew up.
Yeah. So there's something
Luke,
that like
Luke, drink your blue milk and you'll feel better in the bacta tank.
on a very fundamental level, Star Wars has pretty much always been there for us. And I think it's always going to be there for us because they're going to keep making movies forever. They're going to keep making books, TV shows, everything.
Yeah.
So we just wanted to say thank you.
Yeah.
From the bottom of our weird ass, warped, Twilek looking hearts.
Yeah. So
thank you to Star Wars.
Wooher the bartender, Aunt Beru, raise a glass. Cheers.
Man. Actually, we have a theory that they're dating.
Yeah, can we talk about this? We got a minute to talk about it.
Let's get into it.
We have this
you've
theory.
Been with us this long.
Yeah.
Okay, we have a theory that Aunt Beru, when things are kind of a little dry on the moisture farm, she gets in Luke's speeder. She heads on down to Tatooine to, I don't know, pick up some supplies, as they say.
And I'm going into Mos Eisley. I've got to get the droids need fixing or whatever, and then she just heads on down to Chelman's Cantina, and she's like, "Hey, Wooer, how's it going?"
Yep.
They knock back a few Morenzen Golds or Celestian Ales or whatever, and maybe things get hot and heavy, and maybe they have a little Ugnaught baby.
Other theory I want to talk about, I totally think that Yoda's hooking up with that snake.
That's
on
true.
Dagobah.
You're always talking about that.
He totally is.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was the Up at Noon Star Wars special. 1 full hour of weird-ass Star Wars stuff. Thank you to Zach Ryan and everybody else who have worked on the show this week. Thank you to Terry Schwartz for having us. Thank you to IGN for letting us do what we do and talk about Star Wars every single week. And Max, thank you for being my best friend and just celebrating this wonderful time in our lives.
Yeah.
Every single year we get to talk about Star Wars, where everybody else is, and then it gets quiet for a little bit, and then we just keep going.
Yeah.
I love it.
Thank you guys for watching. Next up, we got Ryan McCaffrey and John Borba, who are going to be playing Knights of the Old Republic on IGN Plays Live.
More Star Wars.
Yeah. Happy holidays, guys. Happy New Year. Let's hope that 2017 is a kick-ass year. At the very least, we get to find out what's Luke Skywalker doing on that island with that weird hand. That's it.